3. Hey, everybody. What's up? My name's Trennon. That's Ryan. Say what's up, Ryan.
What's up, everybody?
And you're listening to the TNR show. The TNR show. Very exciting. Episode 6.
6th episode.
6 episodes. We're very excited about it.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of sports to talk about today. Big weekend in sports. So it'll be a little less college basketball heavy. I'm still going to do my normal college basketball rants, but for the most part, it will be a little less college basketball oriented. And we're actually going for, FCS football happened this weekend. Ryan was big into that. He watched a lot of that. College baseball started. I was pretty excited about that. The college basketball has a great
Still
game.
going.
Michigan versus Ohio State. Yeah, that's not done. So that's good. So we got a March Madness is coming up. I'm announcing it right now. I just came up with it in my head 10 seconds ago. That's what's the beauty of this podcast. I'm sporadic. There will be a couple special March Madness episodes. I just came up with that. That's how ingenious I am. I'm a freaking genius. I'm so smart.
So smart.
I've just thought about that. So maybe before the tournament, we could do like an episode breaking down our brackets, maybe something stupid like that. And then maybe we can do another episode like talking about our teams that are in the tournament, because most likely all three, your Oklahoma and Clemson, and then Arkansas and Clemson for me, are going to be in the tournament. I think that's that's definitely something we're going to talk about. And we have all three of our teams in the tournament, so that's pretty exciting.
Oh, yeah.
So that's good for us. So there'll be a lot to talk about coming up. Anyway, we got a lot of college basketball stuff to talk about today anyway, but I'm excited for this episode. There's been a lot of college basketball stuff, and I think that's what we're going to dive into first. Before I get into it, if you like this show, please share it with your friends, especially the YouTube version is going to start coming out on, I decided just now as well, because I'm doing it right now. YouTube version is going to start coming out on Wednesday night, so it'll give something to reinvigorate the fire in the middle of the week on Wednesday night, or Wednesdays generally. And then the pod audio format will always come out on Friday. And one thing, I might not actually release the Wednesday thing, ignore me, but one thing we're going to try to do is cut up this YouTube video into segments. So we're going to have segments. So if you're interested in listening to one, if you don't give a crap about college basketball, you want to listen to college baseball talk, there you go. We're going to have stuff delivering for you. I might not do it on Wednesday. Scratch that from the record. Get rid of that from the record. I didn't say it. You said it.
We're calling audible.
Ryan said that. I didn't say that. Ryan said
enough.
What I'm actually thinking about, I changed my mind. Sunday, be looking out for the video YouTube version on Sunday. That's big brain right there. That's big brain. All right. Adjustments on the fly. That's what makes me so great. That's the bar stool way, I guess. I got the flag over. Look at me. I've got the light. I got the claw over here. It's my way. Got to come up with the plan right as I go. So look out for that. I also have my rivalry documentary that Ryan will be a part of. I keep on mentioning. I keep on forgetting to record an interview with him, but he'll be a part of that as well. So look out for that April 12th, I believe. So a lot of big things coming up in our podcast futures.
Exactly.
Comment about that,
Ryan? Stuff coming up.
Any comment?
There's a lot of stuff coming up, and we got a very packed show. But it's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it'll be a good episode. So let's dive right into it. So let me see some stuff.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to my college basketball stats. So I've got some college basketball stuff written down.
Oh, good.
And I'm going to go talk about what I thought. So I watched I didn't watch the Michigan-Ohio State game, but I watched the highlights.
Yeah. Fantastic game.
What a game.
Fantastic.
The highlights were very thrilling. I only watched them for, I think it was like 8-minute reel. But it seemed like one of those college basketball games, maybe the best college basketball game of the year.
Definitely up there, if not the best. It was very back and forth, a lot of offense, a lot of great plays, dunks, 3-pointers, and you name it. It was a phenomenal game. Just in the end, spoiler alert, Michigan pulled away and won. I think it was it 92 to 87. Yeah, 92 to 87. Michigan. Michigan looks good. I mean, they have one loss. They have one loss, and they just beat Ohio State. They look fantastic. But it was quite a game. I mean, it was very back and forth, and Michigan just got the upper hand at the last minute and pulled away.
Right. And yeah, I think Michigan's the better team.
I think
I
so too.
guess. I think Michigan's a very good team.
I think they've been underrated until just now.
You thought they were overrated?
Underrated.
Oh, underrated. No,
Yeah, we haven't been talking about them.
I
Like
think they
we
can beat
basically
Baylor.
nothing.
I don't know about Gonzaga. Gonzaga just blows everybody out, but the teams they play are crap, so it's hard to say.
Yeah,
We'll have to wait until we see Gonzaga play. Like, I mean, they
yeah,
played some good teams as we talked about last week, but until they like get into the tournament and start doing the big dance with all the other people.
yeah. I agree. I mean, Gonzaga beat San Diego State 106-60 this past week. I mean, that's
Under what now?
they beat San Diego 106-60. That's not fair.
Insane. Gonzaga is just so much more talented than the people.
They are. They're very talented. I mean, I think there's no doubt that they're a good team. We'll just see how good they are.
Yeah, they're definitely a good team. Are they one of those teams that maybe could get upset in the first 2 rounds? I can see it happening, maybe.
I can see it.
I don't know.
I'll see it going all the way though.
That's always a crazy March Madness brackets. I filled out one. I remember filling out one. I remember in 2019 when we had March Madness.
Back in the day.
Crazy. That's gonna be a crazy thing. But yeah, I watched the Ohio State Michigan highlights. I see you got some notes here. Ohio State was hot from 3 early. Michigan led 45-43 at the half. That's a lot of points for a college basketball game at the half. And
Yeah.
it's just overall a great game. The way they just went at it, you can see the fierceness of the competitors. And the Michigan football account, not football, Michigan sports account or whatever, tweeted out that they haven't lost to Ohio State in like a long time. And like they had like 3 random sports, like I think softball, basketball, and another one. I don't remember what it was, but they haven't lost to Ohio State in like a year and a half or something like that. Because if you remember, they didn't play this year because of football and COVID.
Yeah.
Michigan backed out because they're little wimps.
Well, that's a very bold statement to put out when you didn't play football.
Yeah. That's all the Ohio State fans were like, "You didn't play us in football. How can you say that?" Yeah, like I said, so I got some stats. Hunter Dickinson had 22 points for Michigan. Eli Brooks was the second leading scorer with 17 points. And for Ohio State, we got E.J. Liddell had 23, and Dwayne Washington for Ohio State had 30. So there was your leading scorers
Bad.
in the Ohio State Michigan game. So overall, great game. Let me see what else you have written down. So I want to go over some scores from this weekend, and we can kind of come back to like any topics that we want to talk about. So on Thursday, I'm going to go all the way back to 2 Thursdays ago.
Way back.
We're going to discuss it because this is what happens in the week when we record this podcast. So we got to keep the people updated. We got to keep them current on what's going on in the sports world. Okay, number 1 Gonzaga beat St. Mary's 87-65. So I didn't even see. Yeah, so they already pounded somebody else in the ground too on Saturday. Yeah, Michigan before they played Ohio State beat Rutgers 71-64.
Not bad.
Ohio State beat Penn State right before they played Michigan 92-82. Houston beat Wichita State. Oh, Houston lost to Wichita State. 68.
That's a big upset.
Yeah, 68-60. I remember the only reason I'm talking about it because last week we talked about that game.
Yeah.
I remember being like, oh, Wichita State, they're pretty good most of the time. Looks like I was right. I'm a pretty smart better, apparently.
I feel like Houston's kind of the team that they're good at. They're good at beating smaller teams, but when they play someone who's decent to good, they fall apart.
See, that's the difference between Houston and Gonzaga, right?
Yeah.
Houston plays a bunch of crap, but Gonzaga, they play a bunch of crap too, but they're actually like a really good basketball.
Rushing it, yeah.
Yeah, they can beat anybody in the country.
Yeah.
And Iowa, number 11, Iowa, beat number 21, Wisconsin, 77-62. I thought that was worth mentioning. And then Friday, Boise State beat Utah State 81-77. I only mentioned that because Boise State is on the bubble. And Duke beat on South, so we're transitioning to Saturday now. I'm only mentioning this because I got a bunch of Duke people that listen to this podcast. So Duke beat Virginia, number 7 Virginia, 66-65. Everybody pop off the freaking fireworks. Duke has been back to the first 4 out in the tournament.
Duke's back.
If they win like 2 games in the ACC tournament, they're in. It's over.
I mean, maybe it was good that guy got kicked off the team, and now
that guy stinks.
That's
a bad team drafting. No, don't draft that guy.
Don't draft him.
He's a locker room destroyer. That's what they call those kind of people. Number 8 Alabama barely. I even wrote barely beat Vandy 82-78. That sucks for them.
The Commodores.
We play our Vandy plays Vandy. Arkansas plays Alabama tonight. We'll talk about that.
Wednesday, yes.
To Wednesday. So when you're listening to this, you'll know how that turned out if you keep up with Arkansas basketball. But hopefully it'll be good. Arkansas money line, always take it. Number 9 Oklahoma beat Iowa State 66-56. Only mention that because of you. Iowa State is the worst team.
Garbage. They had a good game last night against Baylor. They almost took.
Oh, I did see that. That's just COVID brain for Baylor. COVID dust. I mean, we've been doing this podcast now for a month and a half, I think. Almost maybe. So a month and 4 days. Baylor's been on COVID rest, I think, since we started. I don't think they played a game since. So I just made like COVID brains for them, you know. Another great game that got put underneath the table because of Michigan, Ohio State. West Virginia beat Texas. Number 13 West Virginia beat number 12 Texas. That should be 84-82. Very good game. West Virginia seems to always put on these great, fantastic games. I mean, the Oklahoma West Virginia game from earlier this year was great. A couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And this one is good too. Kansas. Is the Big 12 best conference in basketball right now? I would say
right now I'd say yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. The ACC, man. What do they have? That's so sad.
It's crazy at the ACC. Like the best teams, the blue bloods of the ACC, UNC, Duke, Syracuse, North Carolina, or Notre Dame, they stink this year. I mean, North Carolina's doing okay, but like everyone else stinks. And this year it's Florida State, Clemson. What's the other one? There's one other.
Virginia,
yeah. Like, I mean,
Virginia
good last few years.
Virginia won the thing a couple years ago, and then well, Virginia. See, the problem with Virginia, I don't know. It's tough.
They're very like hot, cold. It's weird.
They're not like they were a couple years ago. They were like a team of destiny a couple years. This year, they're like.
They're just kind of there, yeah.
Yeah, they'll probably make it to Sweet 16, get bounced by Arkansas or something.
I don't know. I see Florida State going pretty far.
Think Florida State could make it Elite 8 or Final 4?
Elite 8, not Final 4.
Very lanky team, Florida State.
Yeah. I could see Elite 8 if it falls in a good position for it. They get a good bracket.
They don't have to run into Baylor or Gonzaga. Good luck. Or
Michigan.
Or Ohio State. I think Ohio State. I think it should be noted that Ohio State lost to Michigan, but I don't think anything should be taken away from them. I thought they played a really good game.
I don't even think they dropped in the rankings.
They shouldn't have.
I think they lost and stayed exactly where they were.
I was listening to somebody break that game down, and the dude was like, I gained respect for Ohio State. I did too. That was a great game to put that kind of game up, to never lose it until the last like minute and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody was going to win, and it just turned out it was Michigan, but still. The reason I asked the question about the Big 12, though, I just read off like 3 scores. Like we're talking about Baylor, and then Oklahoma beat Ohio State. West Virginia's ranked. Texas is ranked, and then Kansas beat Texas.
Hanging in there.
Kansas beat Texas Tech. Number 23 Kansas beat number 15 Texas Tech, 67-61. How about that?
They're all still hanging in there. It's ridiculous.
These are some fun ones right here. Arizona beat. I actually pulling for USC, so I'm disappointed in this. Arizona beat number 17 USC.
I saw that. I was disappointed in that.
Yeah, Arizona. God, they stink. And they're coached like the biggest cheater on the planet or something like that.
Probably.
Kentucky. Well, speaking of big cheaters, John Calipari. Kentucky beat Tennessee 70-55. Right as we speak, I believe Vanderbilt's playing Tennessee. A lot of people riding on Vanderbilt tonight. People are doubting Tennessee, and good reason too. They kind of suck.
They're kind of hot and cold too.
Missouri beat South Carolina 93-78. That game was not of note, but I decided to put it out there anyway because I thought it was important to talk about how bad South Carolina is.
I did want to note before we move on.
Oh no, I got more.
Oh, you got more? Oh my god,
it's a big week, buddy. We got a lot going on here. All right, so last night, Tuesday, I didn't actually write this down. I'm just going.
We don't have to talk about last night. We don't have to talk about last night.
Baylor beat Iowa State 77-72. Oh,
we don't have to talk about it. Let's not talk about it.
Did you know that?
I'm not talking about it. No.
Kansas State, the second worst team in the Big 12, beat number 7 Oklahoma 62-57. You have to talk about it. I'm gonna have to come up here if Arkansas loses to Alabama tonight. Talk that crap.
Oklahoma has a problem right now, and it's called Kansas State.
Hey, Michigan. Hey, they make you feel any better? Number 5 Illinois lost to Michigan State 81-72.
I did see that. I thought it was crazy. They went up to number 4.
All right. Anyway, back to what you were talking about. I don't want to distract. Go ahead. This is like going to be like a couple times in this podcast that I'm going to blow Ryan up. So this is number 1.
We have a debate coming up, so look forward to that.
It's a debate? It's not a debate.
It's a debate.
It's not. I actually right in the face. It's not a debate. Anyway, talk about Oklahoma losing. It's not that big of a deal.
So Oklahoma just has a problem with Kansas State. They've lost to them the last 2 years in football.
Free advertisements. Yeah, they did. What's the deal with y'all in Kansas State, man?
I don't know.
Bill Snyder curse. They lose every other game, but they'll always beat the crap out of Oklahoma.
It's Kansas State. I don't get it. This year we'll blow them out in football. I'm not too worried about it. But
you say that. We all thought y'all were going to blow them out this year. And you lost. And you lost last night to a 7-18 team, Ryan. 3-13 in the Big 12. Y'all stink.
You're not stinking.
Arkansas loses next week. Come here and sit. I can see them here right by him. I'll say, oh, Arkansas lost to Alabama. They lost for Kansas State.
Top 10. That's all I got to say.
Are y'all still top 10?
Yeah, we're still top 10.
What's your ranking?
I think it's like 9.
Oh, whatever. Freaking great. What's that? Big 12 play on Tuesday? Is that their thing?
Sometimes, yeah.
Villanova beat St. John 81-58. Oh, Mike Anderson. He's the head coach of St. John. Shout out to him. He lost. West Virginia beat TCU 74-66. TCU gave them a run. Number 14 Texas beat Kansas 75-72. Georgia Tech beat number 16 Virginia Tech.
I saw that. That was a big one.
69-53. Nice.
Georgia Tech's bad. They are bad.
Better than Kansas State.
Anyways, moving on.
No.
Yeah.
Ole Miss beat number 24 Missouri. How far Missouri has fallen. That's crazy. They're 14-7 now. What a disaster. They're as bad as Kentucky. 60-53. Ole Miss should get in the tournament before Kentucky does. Ole Miss is 13-9. Never mind. All right. That concludes the college basketball segment. Is long. I talk a lot of scores here.
There's a lot to talk about.
I'm not even talking about like random teams either. I'm just covering the top 25.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna keep going on college basketball, but do you have any statements you want to make on any games that have been played?
The games that have been played this past weekend, one I did want to note is Florida State. They keep winning in the ACC. I still think they're the best in the ACC. They beat Pitt.
Bring out Clemson.
And then Clemson and Arkansas games last week got postponed. So I just wanted to.
Clemson and who?
Arkansas.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was like Clemson boost Arkansas.
Could happen. But yeah, Clemson and Arkansas games got postponed last week because of COVID. So we're not skipping them. They just didn't happen.
Didn't they play last night?
Clemson played today.
Today.
They won 60-39 against Wake Forest. Big win. And then Arkansas is playing later tonight.
Yeah, so right now I'm looking at, I'm not going to cover too much. Florida State plays Miami. Miami stinks. Number 6, Alabama plays number 20, Arkansas. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So Alabama is 18-5, and they're ranked 6th. Arkansas is 17-5. We're 20th. Think about that.
Honestly, when I look at Alabama's schedule, when they play big,
Arkansas didn't play any like out of conference opponents. I will give them that.
Well, when Alabama plays big teams, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen for them. They just don't win.
We'll see what they do against the biggest team tonight. They played all year. The Arkansas Razorbacks.
No, they played Oklahoma.
When they already played Oklahoma?
Alabama did, yeah.
They lost, didn't they, Oklahoma? I forgot.
Yeah, Oklahoma beat them.
That was in the SEC Big 12 Challenge, yep.
Something like that, yeah.
All right, some other games of note. Florida State plays Miami. Creighton plays DePaul. Tennessee plays Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's going to blow out Tennessee. I'll take note. Tennessee, 15-6. They stink. Whatever. No, Arkansas gets no respect. Let's go. Let's keep moving on here. Gonzaga.
The dress on a pig, but still a pig.
No, that's true. We'll keep trucking on here. These are games, so important to note. These are games to note for the Cup upcoming weekend. I'm just gonna shout out some ones that I think are important. Gonzaga plays a team with a winning record.
What?
Santa Clara 10-6. So we'll see how that works out for them. This is tomorrow, Thursday, February 25th. Number 3, Michigan takes on number 9, Iowa. Tomorrow, Illinois plays Nebraska. They stink. Ohio State plays Michigan State. That's kind of a big game. So 2 big games tomorrow in the Big 12.
Not as big as it should be, maybe, but it'll be fun.
Oh, man, tomorrow is a barn burner of a night. So the next game we have is USC versus Colorado. USC's number 19. Colorado 17-7. Good basketball team. Probably the second best team in the Pac-12. Maybe, I don't know about Oregon.
Yeah, that'd be a fun game to watch.
But that's crazy. The Pac-12, right? I said that. Boise State plays San Diego State tomorrow. That'll be a big game. Boise State's not even ranked, and they're better. They have the same exact record as they actually have a game over San Diego State. They're not even ranked. That's crazy.
Is San Diego State ranked?
Yeah, 22.
Makes no sense.
Boise State's 14-3 in the Mountain West. San Diego State's 11-3. Maybe that's something to do with it. Probably out of conference and stuff. West Virginia plays Baylor tomorrow.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It got canceled. Son of a
freaking Baylor.
It can't be
Baylor. They don't even play anymore. They just want to get to the tournament and be a number 1 seed.
It's like COVID.
Wait to the tournament.
Nobody gets COVID. But if you're faking it, you're a little. Michigan back at it on Saturday. They don't play around. They get 1 day's rest. That's all we need.
Iowa, that's a good team.
On Saturday? Michigan?
I thought so.
No, they're playing Indiana.
I put Iowa upcoming. I know that.
Well, yeah, and so February 27th.
Maybe it's Tuesday.
That'll be Saturday. Yeah, that probably is next Tuesday.
Yeah.
February 27th, they play Indiana. That's not really. They'll blow out Indiana. What happened to Indiana? Yeesh.
Who knows?
Texas plays Texas Tech. That's another ranked matchup. Tennessee plays Auburn. That should be one of note. Illinois plays Wisconsin. Arkansas plays LSU. 2 tough games for the Hogs this week. Oklahoma plays Oklahoma State. Ooh, a little rivalry game.
Fun one. Number 1 overall draft pick, Oklahoma State.
Cade Cunningham. Oklahoma State unranked, but still they got that dude. A lot of people are thinking they can make a little run if he gets hot in the NCAA.
Not bad.
West Virginia plays Kansas State. Florida State plays North Carolina. West Virginia plays Wake Forest. San Diego State plays Boise State again. Creighton plays Xavier. Loyola Chicago. We've talked about them a little bit. They play Southern Illinois. Baylor, their game's still going for now. We'll see if it gets canceled because they get COVID. Baylor plays Kansas.
And
That's Gonzaga plays Loyola Marymount, another team in their conference that has a winning record. So
Good
that's
for them.
exciting. So right now, so we're gonna come here to I'll come here to standings. Right now, Clemson is sixth in their conference with a record of 14-5. I should probably note who Clemson plays on Saturday as well.
They play. Who do they play?
Miami. So they should
Miami.
win the game. So
Yeah, they play
Clemson,
Miami.
Arkansas is second in the SEC. That held. By the way, last week I said that it was possible that it did not. It did. So good for me.
Good for them.
Good for me for calling it out.
I'll give it. I'll give you that one.
Oh,
That's the only one I'll give you to.
all right. Finally, but not least, I'm going to run through these tournament teams real fast. And then we'll move on. Here we go.
Here we go.
Gonzaga's number 1, Baylor's number 2, Michigan's number 3, Ohio State's number 4, Illinois number 5, Alabama's number 6, Iowa's number 7, Villanova's number 8. Number 9 is Oklahoma. Number 10 is West Virginia. Number 11, Houston. Number 12, Florida State. Number 13, Virginia. Number 14, USC. Number 15 is Tejas. Number 16 is Kansas. 17 is Creighton. 18 is Wisconsin. 19 is Purdue. 20 is Texas Tech. 21 is Tennessee. 22, Woo Pig. 23, Missouri. That's bound to change. 24, Virginia Tech. 25, Louisiana State. 26, Clemsontigers. Clemson at number 26.
Yes.
That's about all the things I think that's notable. Duke, first 4 out now. I think that's important to note. And I think that's the only one that I see that's any kind of interest. Stanford, UConn, I also first 4 out.
Oh, really?
And Georgia Tech's in the next 4 out. It must not be as bad as you think they are.
Maybe they come back.
They have some wild picks in here too, man. Things I just don't understand. Whatever. That's it. That's college basketball. All right, Ryan, take over. I'm tired. I need a nap. That's a lot of stuff. God. Maybe we should start doing.
There's a lot in college basketball right now.
Maybe we should start doing a 2-week show because it would alleviate some of the pain off of me having to do that whole hour-and-a-half long segment, or I'll have to freaking just go off on a ton of stuff. Oh.
Well, all right. Well, we can start moving on to the next, which is college football.
All right.
FCS is currently playing, it's okay. The first one I want to talk about is Jackson State.
Okay.
I think that's the most fun to talk about. Deion Sanders, head coach over at Jackson State, and they played a Division II team, so it's a team that's lower than Jackson State in terms of division. So easy first game. They won 53-0. They looked phenomenal.
Yeah, I caught the end of that football game. I came home in time enough to watch the end of it.
Yeah.
Literally like the last 3 minutes. I was like, oh yeah. But it was crazy. I thought, man, they're a good football team.
They're good. Their defense is amazing. Their running back's pretty good. They have good wide receivers. Their starting quarterback looked a little weak throwing the ball. He was a good runner. I was actually kind of shocked because then they put the backup and the third string in. I thought they were better passers at the ball.
Isn't the starter Deion Sanders' kid?
No, he didn't play. It was really weird. I don't know if he's eligible because he's a high school recruit coming in. So would he be eligible?
Yeah,
for spring?
I think so.
I don't know. He didn't play, which was really weird.
I wonder if what was the name of it? Edward Waters?
Edward Waters.
You think they're any good?
Probably. I mean, they're division lower.
Oh, so they're Division II?
Yeah. So I mean, it's
they rested him.
I mean, they looked
crazy, but whatever.
Start, but they looked good. Even though it's a lower team, they still looked phenomenal. Jackson State did.
Yeah, I think Deion Sanders will have them going to. They'll be good. He won't stay there long.
No, he won't stay there long. And another thing,
I was surprised the Florida State fires Mike Norvell and they hung him.
Seriously, they were considering him before they hired him too. But
Big mistake by them. He can
and
bring a strategy to a program.
yeah,
Life. Florida
yeah,
State needs that.
they need help. But another thing that's good for Jackson State is the team that was supposed to win Jackson State's conference, Alcorn State, has dropped out.
They're
They've
not playing football?
they've opted out because of COVID. So the favorite to win that conference, which was not Jackson State, has now dropped out, and now Jackson State is the favorite.
That's awesome. Good for
So
Jackson State.
fun little fact.
Alcorn, Acorn, weak showing by you. I think I don't want to get into a whole COVID debate, but it can be done if you do it smart. You know, if you're not a bunch of idiots. Maybe it was costing them too much money. I don't know the financial situation, but especially with not having fans and then half of the teams not playing the big boys to get their $1 million checks.
Fans at Jackson State, not a whole lot, but
I was watching a basketball game just a couple minutes ago before we started the podcast. Oh no, it was the before we started recording. I watched the North Dakota State game.
Yeah, versus Youngstown.
Highlights, whatever. And there were a freaking full stadium going on there. The fans there. They had no fear. They play in the dome. They had like the full thing, and they're like, whatever, bring it on. Maybe they all vaccinated their people up in North Dakota.
Maybe. But that's the next game on the list is North Dakota State played Youngstown State.
Youngstown State's a good team. They're
a good team. They're traditionally a good, pretty solid FCS team.
Yeah,
North Dakota. What did you say?
They have a penguin mascot. They do
have a penguin mascot. That you are correct. The North Dakota State won 25-7. North Dakota State's defense looked phenomenal. Like it was stifling. Best defense in FCS, I think. Running back looked good. Quarterback didn't look so good. He was okay. It didn't look great. They're obviously trying to replace Trey Lance, who's going to be a top 10 draft pick in the upcoming NFL draft. And I mean, it's hard for an FCS team to replace that, you know? So it'd be interesting to see how the quarterback plays out at North Dakota State, but it's kind of something to look out for.
I think that's interesting. I watched when I watched the game, when I was watching the highlights, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, man, I expected them to put up a little more points. But Youngstown State is a good team. They're
a good team. Not bad. It was a fun game.
I still hold the position from last week that I think they should join the FBS, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, speaking of FBS, there was an FBS team that played this past weekend.
No way.
Yeah. New Mexico State.
What?
New Mexico State got their butts handed to them by FCS team. I had to look it up. I had never heard of this team before. Tarleton State out of Texas.
No way.
They lost 43-17. FBS team.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Tarleton State.
Tarleton State.
That's
I was blown away. I did not expect an FCS. I mean, New Mexico State's a horrible FBS team. They're horrible. They suck. But you'd think they'd be better than Tarleton State.
Apparently not.
No.
Maybe they don't
by a landslide. They're not.
They had the old Georgia excuse. They're like, we didn't want to be there.
Clearly, because they got their butts kicked. Anyways, I just thought it really was not an important game. Tarleton actually lost to Youngstown.
That is an interesting little fact. That's wild.
Crazy. The one FBS team to play this spring.
They kept playing a whole season or no?
Yeah, it's the only game they're playing apparently. I don't know.
Or they're like, let's get a scrimmage in.
Let's get how to be an easy game, get some confidence. No, tearing that program down. The next game was a big upset. Austin Peay played Tennessee State, and Austin Peay was ranked number 11 in the FCS rankings, and they lost to an unranked Tennessee State 27-21. Austin Pay had they came out, they started really well. Their quarterback actually looked pretty good. Like out of all the teams that I watched, besides maybe South Dakota State, which we'll get to in a little bit, probably the best quarterback play. But yeah, Tennessee State came up, upset number 11 ranked team. So,
Wow.
you know,
Was it Tennessee Tech?
what did you say?
Was it at? It was at Tennessee Tech.
I
Seems- I didn't
believe
watch.
so.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. But
Austin State. What a wild name.
the next game I have to talk about is Wofford, in-state's team out of Spartanburg. Wofford, number 23 ranked team in FCS, beat Mercer 31-14. Wofford looked really good. Their defense played really well. Wofford runs the triple option offense, and they ran it really well. They had a lot of big plays out of the triple option, which is kind of hard to do. But I mean, they looked really good. And when they did have to throw the ball, I mean, of course, it's a triple option offense, so it's going to look a little wonky. But they did well. They gained a lot of yards on the ground and pulled out a good win against a decent team. So Wofford looked pretty good. I was really impressed with Wofford. Really impressed with Wofford. Definitely looking forward to seeing more. Did you see anything from Wofford, Trennon?
No, I didn't make it to their highlights.
Okay, gotcha.
After the night, I'll
Definitely.
try to watch them this coming weekend. I
Yeah,
forgot.
I was gonna say like they are definitely a team to watch going forward. I was watching them and it was fun. Like it was kind of a fun little game to watch. Um, the well, actually, I'll get to that one in a second. I was gonna spoil a little one, but I also wanted to point out James Madison.
I did watch them. I watched them. I watched their
James
highlights.
Madison got to the FCS playoff final the last time they had a playoff final, which was in 2019, and lost to North Dakota State. But they played a fantastic game. They beat more. Yeah, they tore them apart. They beat more.
Oh, that team they played was any good, but man, they looked excellent yesterday.
Yeah, I mean
Saturday.
I mean, they beat them 52-0. I mean, they crushed them.
I think they played on Sunday or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was Sunday. Yeah. It was a later in the week game. But James Madison, they look fantastic. They're not ranked, I don't believe yet, at least. But they should be. They look good. So James Madison's fun. The best game that I saw this weekend was South Dakota State versus Northern Iowa.
Okay.
So South Dakota State is the number 2 ranked team in FCS, and Northern Iowa depends who you ask, but some say they're ranked 5, some say they're ranked 6. It depends if you look at the AP poll or the coaches poll. But it was a fantastic game. South Dakota State put in a freshman quarterback, and he looked phenomenal. He was incredible. It was a really back and forth game. South Dakota State eventually did win 24-20. Like with 19 seconds left, South Dakota State's quarterback threw a touchdown pass to I think it was his running back to win the game. It was a phenomenal game. Back and forth. It was a phenomenal. It was honestly the most skilled and athletic FCS game that I saw all weekend. South Dakota State looked really good, like really good. If you haven't, their team name is Jack
I'm
Rabbit.
watching them right now.
Yeah,
James Madison is number 2 in the country.
Love it. What was that?
James Madison's number 2.
They're number 2 now, really?
Yeah. They're number 3 last week.
These rankings are weird. I don't get them. Yeah, but South Dakota State is definitely a team to watch out for. They are phenomenal. Northern Iowa was pretty good. Obviously not as good as South Dakota State, but they're a very good team. But that was a really fun game. If you haven't watched the highlights, I would highly suggest.
Yeah, the color scheme is weird on these teams, man. I like the Jackrabbits color scheme. They got like a yellow, blue, and gold thing going on. That's kind of nifty.
Yeah.
White. And yeah, this looks like a nifty little game right here.
It's really good. Northern Iowa has some cool uniforms too. I like the purple and black.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Kind of reminds me of Kansas State a little bit.
Yeah. Well, actually, I kind of like another Northwestern,
Sure. Whatever you say, buddy. Anyway, let's talk about
Yes.
how many James
So
Madison isn't ranked. But the thing you sent me said had James Madison ranked number 2.
the polls are weak, and the polls in FCS don't make sense. I don't get it, but because there's two polls. So
Oh, the stats.
yeah, your typical newspaper poll, like the AP poll, and then you have the coaches poll. There's no like BCS or anything like that, or playoff rankings or whatever. So they vary on, just like a regular FBS football.
Okay. All right, let's talk about the one game.
All right, so this is the one game me and Trennon differentiated a little bit in.
People.
So Furman, it's a local team, South Carolina team out of Greenville. Furman is currently is ranked as a top 10 team in the country at number 8. They played, who did they even play? Western Carolina. They played Western Carolina. And I personally feel like they did not play very good. And they did not play like a top 10 team. I feel like they're just a tad overrated too. Trennon over here disagrees with me. Trennon, why do you disagree?
They won 35-7.
They did, but they look horrible. They threw 3 interceptions.
And you sit here and you said, I hate to do this, but you did say it. You were like, Austin Peay is a good team. And remember, you said Western Carolina lost 3 games so far, right?
Who? Western Carolina? Yeah, they counted last season.
Well, he lost 3 games last season as well. A little like 2020 thing. They went. I'm saying, they're good. I just want some consistency here, bub.
Well, that's all I want. Like Furman, they threw the quarterback. Okay, the starting quarterback threw 2 picks. 2 horrible picks. Every time he picked up the ball,
it was the first game.
Okay, well, the other quarterbacks aren't throwing 2 picks.
Jackson State played a Division II team.
Well, I said it was below. I just said it was a good starter game.
No, you said they looked bad. That's what you said to me the other day.
They looked bad. They look so
bad. Let me find the text, people.
They look so bad.
I'm going to roast you. If I see something I just don't agree with, I'm going to flame you. That's just the way it is.
Okay, yes. Furman did win 35-7. However, they threw 3 interceptions.
Here it is right here.
The quarterback looked bad.
You say, okay, you sent me, Furman sucks, by the way. Oh, stop. It's been 1 game. I was like, dear, and then I didn't even know the score at that time. And you said Deion Sanders doesn't suck, and then Jackson State looked good, but it was a D2 team. So you did admit that. You said they threw 3 picks and looked like poo. And you sent me that on Saturday or whatever. And then on Sunday, Monday we were talking. And I said, Furman won. I texted you. And then, yeah, but they stink. I was like, how can you say they suck when they win 35-7? How do you suck? I just don't understand.
You play a good team.
You don't watch Dabo Sweeney, and they'll come after him in his press conferences, right? And they'll say, Dabo, your team really sucked balls today, even though you won by freaking 30. They won the game.
I will give you this on Furman. I'll give you this on Furman.
They won the game 35-7. They blew them out.
I'll give you one thing on Furman.
Blew them out.
The defense looked pretty good. The defense looked good. They held Western Carolina to 7 points, and that's, of course, after giving up 3 turnovers from Furman's offense.
Yeah.
2 of those in the red zone. Now, flipping to Furman's offense, the quarterback looked horrible. The starting quarterback. He threw 2 picks. 2 picks. And then every other pass he tried. Furman's a triple option team to start, so obviously your quarterback play is not going to be perfect. So every pass he tried to throw was just out of range, or the wide receivers really had to stretch out or put in a dangerous position to try and catch it. Moving to their triple option offense, it looked slow. I mean, obviously it is the first game, as you did say, but it just looked slow. When I compare triple option offense. Furman, to say Wofford was going out there and having big plays. They looked fantastic. Furman, they had no big plays. It was just little chunks of yards all along the way to score. And it wasn't interesting.
But they scored. They scored. I think you're missing the big picture here. They won the game. They
did win the game. They won, but I don't.
Their defense look good. You didn't play North Dakota State. You said their defense looked good and really good, and their quarterback looked okay.
But their running game looked fantastic. Furman's offense looked like garbage.
They scored 35 points, Ryan. They scored 35 points. They what?
It was a bad team.
How do you know? How do you know?
They're 0-3. Well, 0-4 now.
Austin P is 0-4. And you said they were a good team.
I said their quarterback is good. Their quarterback is good.
I just want some consistency from you. You want to say Western, what do they play? Western Carolina, bad team. They're 0-4 now. Austin P also 0-4.
I said their quarterback looked good. Their quarterback. They were ranked high.
Maybe Vermon's defense is really good.
It is. I think their defense is good. They have a good defense. I'll give you that.
I'm a Furman stand now. I'm a cheer for Furman. If they lose now, they lose. And if they play like crap, they play like they lose the game. But if they keep winning, I'm gonna be a Furman stand. I'm gonna stand Furman.
Okay.
I'm gonna stand alone on the hill, but I'm gonna stand Furman. I'm gonna come here and defend Furman.
I personally think that Wofford is more deserving of that number 8 position than Furman is.
Where's Wofford ranked?
23. I think they should be ranked higher.
What's the next week's games look like? I think you're crazy. I think you think they should be ranked higher than Furman?
Yeah.
Furman?
Definitely. Wofford's been a very good team in the FCS in the past. I think they're better.
This Saturday at VMI.
Yeah.
Trying to look. Wofford plays Chattanooga. So then.
Yeah, Wofford plays Chattanooga.
I have no idea whether to gauge these teams is good or bad, but
both those teams suck. They're not good. No.
Oh, okay. So Furman and VMI Furman and Wofford should win this week.
They should win this week. I think so. Yeah.
The Citadel does play this. I don't think the Citadel must have not played this past weekend.
No, they didn't play, but they played Mercer, which is the team that Wofford played this weekend.
So they should probably beat that team, I imagine.
I hope so. Jackson State plays Mississippi Valley State, which is Jerry Rice's old school. Fun fact. So Jackson State should be the favorite there as well. I haven't really heard anything about Mississippi Valley State. I don't think they're very good, most likely, since I haven't heard anything about them. But we'll see. Let's see. North Dakota State plays Southern Illinois. Southern Illinois, last I checked, I believe they were ranked in top 25. So could be a pretty good game to watch. Let's see. North Dakota, not North Dakota State, but North Dakota will play South Dakota State. Supposed to be a big rivalry game. South Dakota State's a huge favorite. But I do think South Dakota State is a team to watch in this upcoming season. They look really good. I also wanted to point out two things. CSU and Presbyterian, Charleston Southern and Presbyterian colleges, both are South Carolina colleges. Obviously, since me and Trennon are based out of South Carolina, we're going to try to talk about our South Carolina schools like Wofford and Furman and so on. CSU doesn't start play until March 13th. So a couple weeks out. They start against Kennesaw State. I think I'm saying that right. And then Presbyterian plays March 6th. So
they play Gardner-Webb this week. It's funny. It's funny that you said something because I was sitting here. I was sitting here this past week on Monday, my buddy texted me, and he was like, CSU money line. CSU played Presbyterian on Monday night and won 78-77. Had a game-winning 3 to win the game.
Not bad.
The Buccaneers beat, for their third win of the season, the Blue Hose.
What's the Blue Hose rank?
I think they've won like 7 games or something like that.
7. Okay, so neither of them are going to the
Yeah, they're
tournament.
7-14.
Oh.
So they stink.
So the only South Carolina school that's going to the tournament is most likely Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, Carolina's not going. I don't know about Coastal. Does Coastal even have a basketball team?
They do, but I don't know if they're that good.
Surprise me if they didn't. And then, man, freaking Ryan Furman. Piss me off.
Is it normally me and Trennon agree on all our points, or at least
we should try to go to a CSU game. Me and Ryan have tried to go. We did a thing where I texted him last week, and I was like, "Hey, let's try to go to a football game." All the football games aren't letting fans in. They can't buy tickets to get in the games. That's
great. We have to get like season tickets, which
absolutely not.
I get season
I would never pay any amount of money to go and be a season ticket holder for Furman or even the Citadel. Blech, gross. I'd rather die. Not that I'm saying that you shouldn't listen to our FCS football coverage. It is interesting, but it's the main. I think the main reason we won't cover it. We might. I doubt it in the fall, but I think it's really interesting for FCS football. What's interesting about it is the fact that it's happening in the spring. I think that's what makes it so notable.
Yeah.
They usually, I mean, last year about this time there was the XFL.
Yeah.
We're quickly coming up on the approach. Right now, they were playing games.
Yeah.
They played 2 or 3 games at this point.
By now.
I was big into the XFL last year. I was tweeting about it, following teams. I had my favorite team was the Dallas Renegades.
Ooh, Bob Stoops.
Yeah. And and then the year before that, they had the American Football League. You remember that one?
I remember that. That did not last long.
No, like 3 games. Steve Spurrier was a coach.
He won the championship.
Only, yeah, whatever. All right. Let's start wrapping this thing up. Let's move on to college baseball.
All right.
College baseball.
Got the blood pumping already. Do you want to go first with Arkansas?
I'm absolutely exhausted. I think it's insane that Ryan's take on Furman is freaking bonkers. But it won the game.
We will come back to this video, and we will see who's right.
I'll come back next week, and I'll say I was right. Furman beat the crap out of another team.
No, we'll see.
Whatever. Yeah, this weekend Arkansas 3-0. They did the Texas sweep. What also made me mad about this weekend, though, Ole Miss also did the Texas sweep. I hate Ole Miss. So Arkansas is ranked number 2 in the country now, thanks to Ryan for telling me that. Ole Miss ranked number 1. It just enrages me that Ole Miss, bunch of scumbag baseball team. Oh, I hate them. And they're number 1. Arkansas is number 2. We will take the throne. Arkansas, freaking great baseball team. It's unbelievable how great they actually are. They beat this weekend 3 games in a row. They beat number 3 Texas Tech 13-9. Number 9 Texas 4-0, 4-0. Number 10 TCU 4-1. That's crazy.
Top 10s in a weekend. That's amazing.
And they just put them down like it was nothing. I just think for Arkansas, they play some crap teams coming up too. I watched a little bit of the games. I caught some highlights. I was seeing what's going on. It's hard for me to watch baseball, so I'm definitely going to keep up with the scores and the stats. I don't know about sitting watching a lot of baseball games. I'm going to try to. Arkansas comes to South Carolina this year. If we go to no other sporting event, which it doesn't seem like we're going to be able to get into any of them, I'm going to try to get us into that one.
Well, during the fall, we'll get something in, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna see about this Arkansas South Carolina baseball game. I'm gonna find a way.
Yeah.
Don't doubt me, Ryan. I'm gonna make on a sick day or something like that. Let's go up to Columbia and catch a baseball game or something.
Definitely.
So they start a 4-game series against South Missouri State. And then they do a 3-game series against Murray State. And then they do a 3-game series against Louisiana Tech. And the only reason I read that far is because Tuesday, March 16th, circle it on your calendar. Are you circled, Ryan? Did you circle it? Because the Oklahoma Sooners are coming to Fayetteville, Arkansas to play the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Well, going off that, the Oklahoma Sooners are currently 1-2 start the season.
They didn't play 3 top 10 teams.
They did not. Their one win was against the University of Omaha.
Ooh.
Their 2 losses came.
They're definitely not getting to Omaha now. Can't beat that team. That's bad juju.
Well, they also lost to the University of Omaha as well.
Twice?
They lost to Omaha and they lost to Stephen F. Austin, which is
Oklahoma stinks.
They are not good.
Good Lord.
Oklahoma is not good.
Eesh.
Yeah.
That's bad.
They're not a baseball team. We're putting all our energy into football this year because this is our year.
Don't forget about basketball. Okay, here's a quick hitter for you. What would you do if Oklahoma played Clemson in the NCAA March Madness tournament?
In the basketball tournament?
What would you pull?
So I would do exactly what I did.
Oklahoma all the time, football, doesn't it? That's probably not that hard of a question for you.
No, so I would do exactly what I did 2 years in a row, a couple of years back, when Clemson and Oklahoma played each other in the 2 bowl games, the Russell Athletic and was it the Orange Bowl?
Yeah,
it was one of the semifinals.
I don't remember which one. It was either
it was a semifinal. That's all I remember. But Clemson won both games.
I think it was.
I didn't root for either. I was happy for either team to win. I root for both teams. I love both teams. I literally got to sit there and watch both of my favorite teams play, knowing that either way I was going to be happy, especially in the semifinal game when one of those teams is going to play in the national championship.
I tell you right now, if Arkansas meets Clemson in the March Madness tournament,
yeah,
if Arkansas beat the shit out of Clemson, boy, I want them to pound them in the dirt. Let me tell you. Ooh, pig suey all the way. Screw Clemson. All that success they have in football, they can shove it. Arkansas needs something. I would put everything I own on Arkansas to win that basketball game. Everything I own.
It's probably a good bet.
But yeah, that wraps up the Arkansas baseball talk. You want to talk about Clemson real fast?
Or I can. Sure. Just real quick, Clemson swept Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati, this past weekend. Didn't really have any trouble with them except for the last game in the 10 innings, but pulled it out. They had a walk-off, I believe. But this upcoming week, Clemson will be playing South Carolina. So I believe South Carolina also swept whoever they played. I don't remember who they played. Sorry, I have it in my notes. They swept Dayton. That's who they played. Anyways, but Clemson and South Carolina will be playing this weekend. They'll have a 3-game series, so it'll be fun to talk about that next week.
Important to note before we continue that conversation, South Carolina just finished their game against Mississippi State. How bad do you think they lost by?
In basketball? I know it was a pretty big lead last time I saw it, so I'm going to say like 20.
48 final score. I would like to point out to our viewing audience and our listening audience that Ohio State and Michigan had 45 points at half. And South Carolina scored 3 more points in there than those teams had at half. Now, obviously, I'm not comparing South Carolina to Michigan. Do you think that Frank Martin dude's gone? Probably, right?
I think it's time. He's not doing anything.
He should be gone. That's one thing I think.
I think it's cool that he got them. Didn't he get them to the Final Four years ago?
Darius Thornwell in Arizona.
I mean,
he lost to North Carolina, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's cool you did that, but obviously since then you have backtracked so much, and now you stink. So yeah, maybe it's time to look for a change.
I agree. All right, so detailing some Clemson previous basketball games. I'll talk about these games. They play South Carolina, then they play East Tennessee State, and then they play Notre Dame. And that's about it. Kind of a quiet game. I know they play College of Charleston at some point. Yeah, Tuesday, April 13th. Mark that on your calendar. I'll be there. Boom, I'll be in Clemson cheering for the Tigers. Woo!
Exactly.
Tigers.
The one time you'll pull for the
Well, I'll
Tigers.
be pulling for the Cougars. My bad. No, well, I'll be pulling for the Cougars. We beat Clemson last year like 11-3 or something like that.
Why are you going to pull for the Cougars?
I go to College of Charleston. They're good at baseball. Hold on, give me a second before we wrap it up. Ryan, any final thoughts?
No, definitely looking forward to more FCS football, and I'm curious to see what will happen between Clemson and South Carolina. I think that'll be really interesting.
All right, I'm looking up this thing right now. You have to give me a second.
No, you're good.
Ad blocker detect. Get out my sync. Control Charleston.
Right.
They won 14-2 against North Carolina A&T, and then they lost to North Carolina A&T 3-4, and then they lost to Georgia Southern 7-18.
It's a high-scoring game. It's a very high-scoring game.
Big Ten standards. That's also a high-scoring game if you think about it. All right, well, that concludes a very contentious show. I don't think we had any fan questions. So, unless you have anything random you want to pop off to me real fast, I'll answer it for you.
I don't think so. I'll think of something next time.
Okay, that's fair. If you have a fan question, let me know.
Ask us.
Maybe I should start tweeting it out instead of. Maybe that's what I'll do. I'll put on my Instagram, ask me some sports-related questions.
There you go.
Bites, and then I'll answer them next week on the podcast.
Yeah, do that.
All right, people. Thanks for listening, watching, subscribing, sharing, following, liking, hearting. Next, I'm excited for this episode. I thought it was really good. Thanks Ryan for doing this with me. We're going on episode 6. Fantastic episode coming your way. That's it, people. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. I'll talk with y'all later. Bye. Ryan, I still think you're fucking in.